It's easy to go through life focused on the challenges, looking at what's wrong, thinking about what didn't work out. But if you're only feeding the doubts, the fear, the disappointment, you're going to be weak when you need strength. You'll struggle to believe when the obstacles come, when the doors don't open, when the medical report isn't good. But here's the key: what you feed is what grows. If you're feeding worry, it's going to get bigger. If you're feeding that insecurity, it's going to take root. But when you feed your faith, when you focus on what God promised, when you declare His goodness, when you choose to believe even when things aren't changing, that's when your faith begins to rise. Maybe right now, you're facing something that looks impossible. The odds are against you. The experts say it's never going to happen. But you have to remember, God is not limited by what you see. He's not moved by the natural. He's a supernatural God. What you're believing for may not have happened yet, but that doesn't mean it's not on the way. Your faith is what keeps the door open for God to work. The question is, what are you feeding today? Are you feeding the fear, letting the worry take over, or are you feeding your faith, speaking life, declaring favor, standing on His promises? When you stay full of faith, you'll see doors open that you couldn't open. You'll overcome obstacles that look too big, and you'll step into the fullness of what God has in store. Life has a way of pulling us in different directions. There are moments when we feel strong, confident, and full of faith, believing that great things are ahead, but then there are times when doubt creeps in, when challenges seem overwhelming, and when it feels like our prayers are in those moments. It's not just about what's happening around us. It's about what's happening inside us. Every day we make choices about what we focus on, what we dwell on, and what we allow to take root in our hearts. Just like a garden, whatever we water, nurture, and give attention to will grow. If we continuously dwell on fear, worry, and negativity, that's what will become stronger in our lives. If we focus on faith, hope, and expectation, that's what will flourish. Think about how a small seed becomes a mighty tree. It doesn't happen overnight. A seed needs the right environment, sunlight, and nourishment to grow. If it's neglected, if weeds overtake it, or if it's constantly surrounded by harsh conditions, it won't thrive. Our faith works the same way. It needs care. It needs the right atmosphere. It needs the right input. If a person spends all their time thinking about what's wrong, what's not working, and what could go wrong, they are unintentionally feeding negativity. Over time, those negative thoughts grow stronger, shaping their perspective and influencing their decisions. Before they realize it, fear has taken over, doubt is dictating their choices, and they find it hard to believe for anything good. But the good news is, we don't have to let negativity take control. We have the power to change what we focus on, to shift what we give our energy to. Just like a person can choose to eat healthy foods to nourish their body, we can choose to feed our faith with the right things. One of the most effective ways to do this is by being intentional about what we expose ourselves to. The words we hear, the thoughts we entertain, and the people we surround ourselves with all contribute to the environment we create for our faith. If we constantly listen to negativity, if we allow fearful thoughts to dominate our minds, we are weakening our faith. But if we fill our hearts with uplifting messages, surround ourselves with people who inspire us, and meditate on words of hope, our faith will become stronger. Think about a person who trains for a marathon. They don't just wake up one day and run 26 miles. They build their endurance over time. They start with small distances, gradually increasing their stamina, conditioning their bodies to handle greater challenges. In the same way, our faith grows when we consistently feed it, when we choose to trust even when things aren't changing, when we believe despite the odds. When we speak life over our circumstances instead of complaining, we are strengthening our faith muscles. There are countless stories of people who have faced incredible adversity but have come out stronger, not because their circumstances were easy, but because they chose to feed their faith. They refused to let setbacks define them. They didn't allow disappointments to weaken their belief in a brighter future. Instead, they held on to faith, speaking life over their situation, trusting that things would turn around. And in time, they saw breakthroughs, miracles, and unexpected blessings. It's not always easy to maintain a strong faith, especially when life throws challenges our way. There will be moments when doubt whispers, "It's never going to happen. Things will never change." But in those moments, we have a choice. We can either agree with the doubt and let it take root, or we can reject it and replace it with words of faith. This is why it's so important to guard our thoughts. The mind is like a gatekeeper. It determines what gets in and what stays out. If we constantly allow negative thoughts to linger, they will shape our perspective. But if we make a conscious effort to focus on the good, to remind ourselves of the promises ahead, we will keep our faith strong. A practical way to feed our faith is through daily affirmations. Speaking words of encouragement over ourselves can shift our mindset. Instead of saying, "I don't think I can do this," we can declare, "I am strong. I am capable. I have everything I need to succeed." Instead of saying, "Nothing ever works out for me," we can say, "Good things are coming my way. Doors of opportunity are opening. My best days are still ahead." Another way to nurture faith is through gratitude. When we focus on what's already working, when we acknowledge the blessings we have, we shift our energy from lack to abundance. Gratitude strengthens our faith because it reminds us that we've already seen goodness in our lives, and if good things have happened before, they can happen again. It's also important to surround ourselves with the right people. If we are constantly around those who complain, who see the worst in every situation, and who discourage us from believing in greater things, our faith will be weakened. But when we spend time with those who encourage us, who uplift us, and who remind us of the possibilities ahead, our faith will grow. In the end, feeding our faith is a daily commitment. It's about choosing moment by moment to focus on what builds us up instead of what tears us down. It's about being mindful of what we allow into our hearts and minds. It's about believing, even when we can't see the full picture, that something greater is on the way. No matter what challenges come, no matter how things look right now, we can decide today to feed our faith. And as we do, we will grow stronger, walk with confidence, and step into the incredible things that are waiting for us ahead. There is a constant battle in life between faith and doubt, between believing for the best and fearing the worst. Every day we are presented with thoughts that either encourage us to trust in a positive outcome or tempt us to dwell on everything that could go wrong. These thoughts influence how we feel, how we respond to situations, and ultimately the direction our lives take. Doubt often starts as a small, almost unnoticeable thought. It whispers, "What if it doesn't happen? What if you fail? What if things never change?" At first it might seem harmless, just a fleeting concern, but if given enough attention, it begins to grow. Before long, that single thought of doubt can turn into full-blown fear, anxiety, and discouragement. It can stop progress, keep people from stepping into their destiny, and rob them of peace. The problem with allowing doubt to take root is that it begins to shape reality. When a person constantly entertains negative possibilities, they begin to expect them. And when they expect failure, disappointment, or defeat, their actions begin to reflect those expectations. Instead of stepping out with confidence, they hesitate. Instead of believing for opportunities, they assume doors will remain closed. Instead of speaking words of faith, they voice their fears. Over time, this mindset becomes a habit, and suddenly life is filled with stress and uncertainty, not because circumstances are impossible, but because the wrong thoughts have been given too much power. On the other hand, faith operates differently. It doesn't deny the reality of challenges, but it refuses to magnify them. It acknowledges difficulties, but chooses to believe that solutions will come. Faith sees the same obstacles that doubt sees, but instead of saying it's too big, it says it's not bigger than what's possible. Instead of saying it's too late, it says there's still a way. When a person makes the choice to focus on faith instead of doubt, they take control of their internal dialogue. They begin to speak words that uplift instead of discourage. They shift their perspective from expecting defeat to anticipating breakthroughs. This simple shift in thinking doesn't just change their outlook, it changes their results. One of the most important steps in maintaining a strong faith is becoming aware of the thoughts that are allowed to linger. The mind is like a garden and thoughts are like seeds. If weeds, negative thoughts are left unattended, they spread quickly. But if they are uprooted as soon as they appear, they lose their power. This means being intentional about recognizing when doubt begins to creep in and immediately replacing it with a thought of faith. Some people have conditioned themselves to accept doubt as a normal part of life. They've heard negative voices for so long that they assume it's just how things are. Maybe they were told growing up that they weren't talented enough, that success wasn't for them, or that they'd never rise above their circumstances. Those words planted seeds of doubt, and over time those seeds took root. Now when faced with an opportunity, their first instinct is to question whether they're capable, whether they're worthy, or whether it's even possible. But just because doubt has been a part of the past doesn't mean it has to define the future. There is a choice that can be made at any moment to stop giving doubt the attention it craves. Thoughts may come, but they don't have to stay. Just because a negative thought enters the mind doesn't mean it has to be accepted. It can be recognized for what it is, a distraction, and replaced with something better. One way to keep doubt from gaining ground is by controlling what is allowed into the mind. What is heard and seen has a direct impact on what is believed. If the majority of what is consumed is negative, discouraging, or fear-based, then those thoughts will naturally grow stronger. But when uplifting, empowering messages are consistently taken in, they build confidence, expectation, and belief in a brighter future. The people who are surrounded by can also either fuel doubt or reinforce faith. Some individuals always have something negative to say. They focus on problems, talk about limitations, and spread fear without realizing it. Being around them too often can cause even the most hopeful person to start questioning their dreams. That's why it's so important to be intentional about spending time with those who encourage, who see potential, who believe in possibilities. There will always be moments when doubt tries to creep in. Unexpected setbacks, delays, and disappointments can shake confidence. But these are the moments that define growth. The decision to push past doubt, to stand firm in belief, and to trust that good things are still ahead will determine the outcome. When faith is consistently strengthened, doubt loses its grip. It no longer has the same effect because it's not being given the attention it needs to survive. One of the greatest dangers of entertaining doubt is that it can cause hesitation. Many dreams have gone unfulfilled. Many opportunities have been missed, not because they were impossible, but because fear held someone back from taking the first step. The truth is, progress is rarely made in complete certainty. Most breakthroughs come when action is taken despite uncertainty, when a leap of faith is made, even when the outcome isn't fully visible. In the long run, doubt only serves to delay what could have already been achieved. It keeps people stuck, waiting for perfect conditions that may never come. But faith moves forward, even in the unknown. It trusts that each step taken will lead to the next, that every challenge has a solution, and that what is meant to be will unfold in its time. Instead of feeding into doubt, there is a choice to redirect focus toward what is good, what is possible, and what is promising. By doing so, confidence is built, stress is reduced, and a mindset of expectation replaces one of hesitation. And when faith is given more attention than doubt, life begins to open up in ways that once seemed impossible. Words have an incredible power. They shape thoughts, influence emotions, and create the reality in which a person lives every day. Words are spoken that either build up or tear down, that either bring hope or bring discouragement. Many people don't realize that the words they choose can determine the course of their lives. They think they're just expressing how they feel, just stating the facts, or just being realistic. But what is spoken consistently becomes deeply rooted in the mind and heart, affecting actions, beliefs, and ultimately outcomes. There is a direct connection between what is said and what is experienced. If someone continually speaks about what's wrong, what's not working, and how difficult life is, they will naturally begin to focus on those things. Their perspective will be shaped by what they declare. They will start seeing more problems, more obstacles, and more reasons to feel discouraged. Their words create an atmosphere of negativity, which influences their mood, their relationships, and their decisions. On the other hand, when a person speaks with confidence, expectation, and hope, their outlook changes. Instead of dwelling on difficulties, they start seeing possibilities. Instead of being overwhelmed by obstacles, they look for solutions. They create an atmosphere of faith that not only affects their own mindset, but also impacts those around them. Their words become a source of encouragement, lifting their spirit and strengthening their belief in a better future. It's easy to speak words of faith when everything is going well, when doors are opening, when opportunities are flowing, when life feels good. But the real test comes during challenging times. When circumstances seem to contradict what is hoped for, when setbacks occur, and when progress seems slow, that's when words matter most. In those moments, there is a choice to either speak defeat or declare victory, to either dwell on the problem or proclaim the solution. Some people unknowingly talk themselves out of their own success. They say things like, "I'll never get ahead, nothing ever works out for me," or "this is just my luck." They don't realize that by repeatedly speaking those words, they are reinforcing those beliefs in their own minds. Their subconscious absorbs those messages and begins shaping their actions to align with what they've declared. Before long, they see their words come to pass, not because it was their destiny, but because they programmed themselves to expect it. But just as negative words can bring discouragement, positive words can bring strength. When someone declares, "I am capable, I am favored, good things are coming my way," they are programming themselves to expect success. Their confidence grows, their attitude shifts, and they begin to take actions that align with their words. They walk into situations with a different energy, and that energy influences how others respond to them. There is a well-known principle that what is focused on expands. If energy is given to worries and doubts, those thoughts grow stronger. But if energy is given to faith, trust, and positive expectation, those things become dominant. Speaking words of life isn't about denying reality. It's about choosing to focus on a greater truth. It's about believing that challenges are temporary, that solutions exist, and that the future holds greater things. Many people wait to see change before they start speaking differently. They think, once I get the promotion, then I'll believe I'm successful. Once I feel better, then I'll declare that I'm healthy. Once things improve, then I'll talk about victory. But that's backward thinking. Change doesn't happen first, and then words follow. Words must come first, and then change follows. Speaking words of faith in the present, even before there is evidence of improvement, is what creates the conditions for transformation. Imagine planting a seed in the ground. At first, there is no visible sign of growth. The soil looks the same as before, but beneath the surface, something is happening. The seed is beginning to take root, drawing nutrients and preparing to emerge. If someone were to give up and stop watering it just because they didn't see instant results, they would never experience the full harvest. In the same way, words of faith must be spoken consistently, even when nothing appears to be changing. Just because results aren't visible yet doesn't mean they aren't on the way. It's also important to guard against words spoken in frustration. Everyone faces moments of difficulty, but during those times, it's crucial to remain mindful of what is being declared. Speaking words of defeat only reinforces the struggle. Instead of saying, "This is never going to work," it's better to say, "I may not see it yet, but I trust that things are shifting in my favor." Instead of saying, "I'll never overcome this," it's better to say, "I am getting stronger every day, and I will rise above this challenge." Another factor to consider is the power of repetition. What is spoken repeatedly becomes ingrained in the mind. That's why daily affirmations and declarations are so effective. When a person wakes up and begins their day by speaking words of encouragement over themselves, they set the tone for everything that follows. They remind themselves of who they are, what they're capable of, and what they're believing for. It's also helpful to create an environment where words of faith are constantly present. Listening to uplifting messages, reading words of encouragement, and surrounding oneself with people who speak life can make a significant difference. The more positive words are heard and spoken, the more they take root. Words not only impact the individual speaking them, but they also influence those around them. When someone consistently speaks with faith, they inspire others to do the same. Their words create an atmosphere of hope, encouraging those who may be struggling. Even in the most difficult moments, there is always a choice to speak words that build up rather than words that tear down. The words spoken today are shaping tomorrow. By choosing to declare faith, strength, and victory, a foundation is being laid for a future filled with possibilities. Every thought has the power to shape a person's life. The mind is like a fertile field, ready to grow whatever's planted in it. If positive, faithful thoughts are consistently sown, they will produce strength, confidence, and perseverance. But if negative, discouraging thoughts are allowed to take root, they will grow into fear, doubt, and insecurity. The direction of a person's life is largely determined by what they allow their mind to dwell on each day. It's easy to underestimate the influence of thoughts. After all, they are invisible. They come and go so quickly that it's tempting to believe they don't have much effect. But just because something isn't seen doesn't mean it isn't powerful. The reality is that thoughts are the foundation for every decision, action, and outcome. What the mind consistently focuses on, the life eventually reflects. Consider someone who constantly worries about failure. Every time they face a new opportunity, their mind is filled with thoughts like, what if I don't succeed? What if I embarrass myself? What if I'm not good enough? Over time, those thoughts create hesitation. Instead of stepping forward with confidence, they hold back. Instead of embracing challenges with a growth mindset, they shy away from anything that seems difficult. Eventually, the fear of failure becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, not because they weren't capable, but because their thoughts convinced them otherwise. On the other hand, a person who fills their mind with thoughts of faith, hope, and confidence will experience a very different reality. When challenges arise, instead of thinking, I can't do this, they tell themselves, I am prepared for this. I have what it takes. When things don't go as planned, instead of dwelling on disappointment, they think this is only a temporary setback. Something better is coming. Over time, these thoughts build resilience, determination, and the ability to keep moving forward no matter what obstacles arise. The good news is that no one is powerless over their thoughts. While thoughts may come uninvited, they don't have to be entertained. Just as a person can choose what music to listen to or what conversations to engage in, they can also choose which thoughts to accept and which to reject. If a thought isn't leading to peace, strength, or progress, it doesn't have to stay. It can be replaced with something better. One of the most effective ways to shape thoughts is by being intentional about input. The mind is constantly absorbing information through conversations, media, books, and daily experiences. If most of that input is negative, filled with fear, worry, and doubt, then those kinds of thoughts will naturally dominate. But if the mind is filled with encouragement, wisdom, and faith, then confidence and peace will grow. It's also important to recognize that thoughts have momentum. A single negative thought, if left unchecked, can lead to an entire cycle of discouragement. For example, a small concern about finances can spiral into thoughts like, I'll never get ahead, or what if I lose everything? A small frustration at work can turn into, I'm stuck here forever, or I'll never succeed. But in the same way, a single positive thought can also build momentum in the right direction. One thought of gratitude can lead to another. One thought of possibility can lead to new ideas, fresh motivation, and renewed hope. The battle for a strong, faithful mind isn't won overnight. Just like a muscle needs consistent training to grow stronger, the mind needs regular conditioning. If a person has spent years dwelling on negative thoughts, it will take time to retrain their thinking. But with practice, it becomes easier. The more frequently a thought pattern is chosen, the more natural it becomes. A powerful way to reinforce positive thoughts is through repetition. Speaking words of faith out loud helps to reinforce them in the mind. When a person repeatedly tells themselves, "I am capable, I am strong, I am equipped for what's ahead," those thoughts begin to feel more natural. Over time, they replace old patterns of doubt and fear. Another key strategy is awareness. Many people don't realize how often they allow negative thoughts to dominate their minds. But by intentionally paying attention to their inner dialogue, they can start recognizing patterns. Anytime a limiting or discouraging thought arises, it can be immediately challenged and replaced with something better. Surrounding oneself with the right influences is also crucial. If most conversations are filled with complaints, criticism, or fear-based thinking, it becomes much harder to maintain a mindset of faith. But when time is spent with people who speak life, who encourage growth, and who reinforce positive thinking, the mind naturally starts adopting those same perspectives. This isn't about ignoring reality or pretending that difficulties don't exist. It's about choosing to see challenges through a lens of faith rather than fear. It's about refusing to let negative thoughts dictate the future. No one can control every circumstance, but they can control how they think about those circumstances, and the way they think will determine how they respond and ultimately what they experience. Every day presents a new opportunity to train the mind. Each moment is a chance to choose faith over fear, confidence over doubt, and possibility over limitation. By intentionally feeding the mind with the right thoughts, a foundation is laid for a life that is strong, purposeful, and full of great things ahead. Life is constantly presenting challenges, uncertainties, and moments that test inner strength. The ability to keep going, to stay hopeful, and to push through difficulties often depends on what has been built internally. Strength is not just about physical endurance. It is about having the resilience, confidence, and determination to keep moving forward despite obstacles. There are times when everything feels easy, when plans are unfolding smoothly, when opportunities seem endless, and when energy is high. But there are also seasons of struggle, when progress is slow, when unexpected setbacks arise, and when discouragement tries to take hold. It is in these moments that inner strength is most important. Those who have developed resilience will find a way to keep going, while those who have not invested in their inner strength may feel overwhelmed, uncertain, and tempted to give up. One of the greatest misconceptions is that strength is something a person either has or does. In reality, it is something that is built over time. It is developed through experiences, challenges, and the choices made in difficult moments. Just like a muscle grows stronger with use, inner strength is built by consistently pushing past limitations, by choosing to stay positive, and by refusing to let obstacles define the future. A key part of developing inner strength is being intentional about perspective. When difficulties arise, there is always a choice in how to respond. Some people see challenges as signs to stop, as proof that they are not capable, or as reasons to doubt their potential. Others see those same challenges as opportunities to grow, as stepping stones towards success, and as confirmation that they are on the right path. The difference is not in the situation itself, but in the mindset that is applied to it. When something doesn't go as planned, it is easy to feel discouraged. It is natural to wonder why things are difficult or to question whether the effort is worth it. But the strongest people are not those who never face challenges. They are those who refuse to let challenges break them. They find a way to keep going even when it would be easier to quit. They remind themselves that setbacks are temporary, that every challenge is an opportunity to learn, and that what is ahead is greater than what is behind. One of the ways to build resilience is by learning to focus on what is within control. Many people waste energy worrying about things they cannot change, about other people's opinions, about past mistakes, or about uncertainties in the future. But strength comes from shifting focus to what can be controlled. Effort can be controlled. Attitude can be controlled. The way a situation is viewed can be controlled. By focusing on these things, energy is directed toward progress instead of wasted on worry. Another important aspect of developing inner strength is being mindful of self-talk. The way a person speaks to themselves matters. Words have the power to build up or tear down, to encourage or to weaken. When challenges arise, the words spoken internally can either provide strength or drain it. Saying things like, "I can't do this," or "this is too hard," only makes obstacles seem larger. But choosing to say, "I will find a way," or "I am stronger than this challenge," creates a mindset that fuels persistence. Consistency is another key factor. Strength is not built in a single moment. It is developed through daily habits. Just as an athlete trains consistently to improve endurance, inner strength is developed by making small, intentional choices each day. Choosing to stay positive, choosing to push through discomfort, and choosing to keep going even when motivation is low, all contribute to greater resilience over time. Surrounding oneself with the right influences also plays a significant role. Just as negativity can drain energy, positive and supportive people can reinforce strength. Encouraging conversations, uplifting messages, and the presence of those who believe in possibilities help to build confidence and determination. Strength is not about never feeling doubt or fear. It is about moving forward despite those feelings. Everyone experiences moments of uncertainty, but those who have built inner strength refuse to let those feelings dictate their decisions. They acknowledge the fear, but don't allow it to control their actions. They remind themselves that courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act in spite of it. Difficult seasons are often the times when true strength is revealed. It is easy to stay motivated when everything is going well, but real resilience is proven when things are challenging. Those who have trained themselves to push forward, to stay hopeful, and to trust in their ability to overcome will find that they are able to withstand even the toughest moments. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger. Each time a difficult situation is faced and overcome, confidence increases. What once seemed impossible becomes manageable. What once felt overwhelming becomes just another step along the journey. Over time, challenges that used to cause stress no longer have the same effect because inner strength has been developed to a level where they can be handled with confidence and grace. It is important to recognize that strength is not about perfection. No one has it all together all the time. There will be moments of doubt, moments of exhaustion, and moments when giving up seems like an option. But true strength is found in getting back up, in choosing to keep going, and in believing that better days are ahead. Resilience is built with every challenge faced and every obstacle overcome. It is developed through daily choices, through the way difficulties are approached, and through the determination to never stop moving forward. No matter what comes, the ability to stand strong, to stay hopeful, and to believe in the future is what makes all the difference. There is great power in persistence. The ability to keep going, to push forward, and to remain steadfast in the face of challenges is often what separates success from failure. It is not always the most talented, the most educated, or the most well-connected individuals who achieve great things. More often than not, it is those who refuse to give up, those who continue striving even when the odds are against them. Every journey comes with moments of difficulty. There will be times when progress feels slow, when obstacles seem insurmountable, and when discouragement tries to take hold. It is in these moments that persistence is tested. Many people start strong, full of excitement and motivation, but when setbacks arise, they lose their enthusiasm. They begin to doubt themselves, wondering if the effort is worth it. But those who press on, those who keep showing up, those who refuse to let temporary challenges stop them, they are the ones who ultimately see results. One of the greatest challenges in staying persistent is learning to push through frustration. It is easy to feel impatient when things are not happening as quickly as expected. Many people assume that if something is meant to be, it will happen effortlessly. But success in any area of life requires endurance. There are times when it feels like no progress is being made, when the results are not visible, and when quitting seems like the easiest option. But persistence means continuing to take steps forward, even when it feels like nothing is changing. It is important to remember that just because results are not immediate does not mean they are not coming. Many breakthroughs happen after long periods of unseen effort. Growth is often happening beneath the surface, even when it is not visible. A tree does not grow tall overnight. It takes time for the roots to develop, for the trunk to strengthen, and for the branches to spread. In the same way, persistence lays the foundation for lasting success. There will always be reasons to stop. There will always be obstacles, distractions, and difficulties along the way. But choosing to persist despite these challenges is what leads to victory. Every person who has accomplished something great has faced moments of doubt, moments when they question whether to continue. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is often a simple decision, the decision to keep going. Persistence is not just about effort, it is also about resilience. It is about learning to adapt, to grow, and to adjust when necessary. Sometimes the path forward requires new strategies, new approaches, or a shift in mindset. Those who are persistent do not just keep doing the same thing over and over. They learn from their experiences, they make adjustments, and they keep pressing forward with greater wisdom. It is easy to look at successful individuals and assume that they never struggled, that their journey was smooth, that they always knew exactly what to do. But the truth is, every person who has achieved something worthwhile has faced setbacks. They have encountered failure, rejection, and disappointment. What made them different was their refusal to quit. They understood that setbacks are not the end of the story. They are simply part of the process. One of the biggest enemies of persistence is self-doubt. Many people give up not because they are incapable, but because they convince themselves that they are not good enough, that they don't have what it takes, or that they will never succeed. But those who persist refuse to listen to those doubts. They silence the inner voice that tells them to quit. They replace thoughts of failure with thoughts of determination. Another challenge to persistence is the temptation to compare. It is easy to look at someone else's progress and feel discouraged. When others seem to be moving ahead faster, achieving more, or finding success with less struggle, it can be frustrating. But persistence requires focusing on one's own journey, understanding that each person's path is unique, and refusing to be discouraged by what others are doing. It is also important to recognize that persistence is not about perfection. There will be days when energy is low, when mistakes are made, and when it feels like progress is lost. But persistence means getting back up, trying again, and continuing forward no matter what. It means not letting one bad day define the entire journey. Every time persistence is practiced, it becomes stronger. The more a person refuses to give up, the more resilience they build. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable. What once seemed impossible becomes achievable. Over time, persistence turns challenges into stepping stones, obstacles into lessons, and difficulties into opportunities for growth. One of the greatest rewards of persistence is the sense of accomplishment that comes from overcoming challenges. When success finally arrives, it is not just about reaching the goal. It is about knowing that every struggle, every setback, and every moment of doubt was worth it. It is about looking back and realizing that quitting was never an option, that strength was built along the way, and that the journey itself was just as valuable as the destination. There is no limit to what persistence can achieve. It has the power to turn failure into victory, to transform obstacles into stepping stones, and to create opportunities where none existed before. It is not always easy, but it is always worth it. The greatest successes come not to those who never face challenges, but to those who refuse to give up, no matter what. Life is a journey filled with challenges, uncertainties, and moments that test inner strength. But through it all, there is an undeniable truth. What is fed will grow. When faith is nurtured, when the mind is filled with positive thoughts, when strength is developed, and when persistence becomes a way of life, there is no limit to what can be achieved. The road may not always be easy. There will be obstacles, setbacks, and moments when giving up seems like the logical choice. But in those moments, the decision to keep believing, to keep pushing forward, and to keep trusting in what is possible will make all the difference. Success, breakthroughs, and transformation do not come to those who wait passively. They come to those who take action, who refuse to be defeated, and who stay committed to the journey. Every thought matters. Every choice to focus on faith over fear, on hope over doubt, and on progress over stagnation builds a foundation for a life of strength, purpose, and fulfillment. Challenges will come, but they are not signs to stop. They are opportunities to grow. Moments of difficulty are not indicators of failure. They are stepping stones to something greater. The power to move forward, to overcome, and to create a future filled with possibility is already within. It is not about being perfect or having all the answers. It is about making a decision every single day to feed faith, to silence negativity, and to trust that the best is yet to come. No matter what has happened in the past, no matter what challenges exist today, the future is still full of endless potential. The choice is simple. Keep believing, keep pushing forward, and never stop feeding what brings life, strength, and purpose.